and he has got to be careful to Spence. But now Spence going to work, and he drops Bondu, and this one.
Boxing has always been a proving ground. Inside the ring, there is no hiding, no shortcuts, and no mercy. Fighters enter chasing glory, but only the strongest survive the brutal path to the top, and even fewer manage to stay there. Throughout boxing history, many champions have risen and fallen, but every generation produces a fighter who seems built differently. A fighter whose discipline, power, and determination separate him from everyone else. In the welterweight division, that fighter became Errol Spence Jr. Born on March 3, 1990 in Long Island, New York, Spence's life would take a turn early. When he was just 2 years old, his family relocated to DeSoto, Texas. It was there, in the competitive sports culture of Texas, that his fighting spirit began to grow. But boxing was not something he immediately loved. According to Spence, his father was the one who first pushed him toward the sport. One morning, his father woke him up and told him they were going to a boxing gym. The young Spence didn't understand what he was getting into, and in those early days, things were far from easy. In fact, he often got beaten up in sparring. The gym was full of experienced fighters, and the learning curve was brutal. Many kids would have walked away, but quitting was never an option. His father gave him a lesson that would shape his mindset forever. If you walk away from something just because it becomes difficult, you'll do the same thing in every challenge life throws at you. Those words stayed with him. Slowly, the punishment in the gym turned into motivation. What once felt like a struggle became a mission. Spence began spending more and more time studying boxing. He watched footage of legendary fighters, learning their movements, their timing, and their ring intelligence. Among the fighters he admired most were Roy Jones Jr. and Sugar Ray Leonard. Their speed, precision, and confidence inspired him to imagine himself reaching the same heights one day. As his skills improved, Spence began building an impressive amateur career. Competing across the United States and internationally, he faced opponents with a wide range of styles. Each fight added another layer of experience. His ultimate amateur goal was clear: the Olympic Games. In 2012, that dream became reality when he qualified to represent the United States at the London Olympics in the welterweight division. For any boxer, stepping onto the Olympic stage is a defining moment. It's where the world's best amateurs compete for national pride and global recognition. Spence entered the tournament determined to prove himself. Although his Olympic journey didn't end with a medal, the experience gave him something equally valuable: preparation for the professional stage. The amateur circuit had been his classroom, and now he was ready to graduate. When Spence turned professional, he teamed up with trainer Derek James, a trainer who would become one of the most important figures in his career. Together, they built a style that perfectly suited Spence's strengths. He was a southpaw fighter with excellent fundamentals, but what truly made him dangerous was his relentless pressure and devastating body attacks. Opponents quickly discovered that surviving a fight with him was easier said than done. Fight after fight, Spence began stacking victories. His amateur pedigree showed in the way he controlled distance and broke down opponents methodically. Many of his early fights didn't go the distance. Instead, they ended with knockouts that sent a message to the rest of the division. As his record grew, so did his reputation. Spence was no longer just a promising prospect, he was becoming a serious contender. By the time he reached the midpoint of his professional career, he had already built a record filled with knockouts and dominant performances. The welterweight division was one of the most competitive weight classes in boxing, but Spence looked ready for the challenge. Then came a defining opportunity. In 2017, Spence traveled to England to face IBF welterweight champion Kell Brook. For Brook, the fight was a homecoming. The arena in Sheffield was packed with thousands of fans cheering for their champion. For Spence, it was the biggest test of his career. The early rounds were competitive. Brook used his experience and timing to challenge the young challenger. But as the fight progressed, Spence's relentless pressure began to show its effect. Round after round, he attacked the body, slowly wearing the champion down. By the later stages of the fight, Brook was exhausted and battered. Finally, after a brutal accumulation of punishment, he took a knee. The referee waved it off. In that moment, Errol Spence Jr. became the new IBF welterweight champion of the world. Winning a title on foreign soil made the victory even more impressive. But Spence wasn't satisfied with just one belt. His goal was domination. He wanted to unify the division and face every top fighter available. One of his most notable title defenses came against Mikey Garcia, a four-division champion who moved up in weight to challenge him. The fight took place at AT&T Stadium in Texas, giving Spence the chance to headline a massive event in his home state. From the opening rounds, the size and strength difference was clear. Spence controlled the fight with a sharp jab and powerful combinations. Garcia showed heart, but he struggled to deal with the pressure and range. After 12 rounds, the result was obvious. Spence had delivered another dominant performance. Soon after, another major challenge arrived in the form of Shawn Porter, one of the most aggressive and relentless fighters in the welterweight division. Their fight quickly turned into a war. Porter pushed the pace, forcing exchanges and refusing to back down. But Spence remained composed, responding with sharp counters and powerful body shots. In the later rounds, Spence scored a critical knockdown that helped secure the victory on the scorecards. With that win, he added another championship belt to his collection. But outside the ring, his career faced an unexpected challenge. In 2019, Spence was involved in a serious car accident that shocked the boxing world. Many wondered if he would ever fight again. Yet once again, he proved his resilience. After months of recovery, Spence returned to the ring and defended his title successfully, reminding everyone why he was considered one of the best fighters in the sport. Throughout his career, one potential matchup has always captured the imagination of fans: a showdown with Terrence Crawford. Both fighters dominated the welterweight division for years, and the debate over who was truly the best became one of boxing's biggest discussions. Regardless of rivalries or debates, Errol Spence Jr.'s legacy in boxing remains undeniable. From a young kid struggling in the gym to a world champion dominating one of boxing's toughest divisions, his journey reflects the heart of the sport itself: discipline, perseverance, and the refusal to quit when things get hard. Because in boxing, greatness is never given, it's earned. And Errol Spence Jr. fought for every step of it.